We're ready for the start. They're off.
It's the first call of 2023, but folks, we ain't messing around here. There is a lot going on for the first full weekend of the new year. Jeremy Plonk, Jeff Siegel from First Bet and Express Bet. Glad you're joining us. Hopefully you had a great holiday and New Year with you and yours. But Jeff, we're right feet to the fire. Like if you have a little hangover from the holidays and you're not ready to get back to work, this ain't the week to be working in horse racing. We got a lot going on. Coast to coast pick 5 wager debuts, beat the host debuts. The handicapping tournament is back for the 18th year. I started countdown to the crown this week. I can't keep anything straight at this point, but what I like is just to sit back for the next half hour with you and handicap some races.
Yeah, it's going to be fun out here in California where I am. Mother Nature and the racing gods cooperated yet again. Poured rain, but it seems like the rain always comes on the off days, so we're fine. I think the track will be fine. The grass could always use a little bit of moisture, so good racing out here at Santa Anita. And for the California breds on Saturday, they're going to have their chance and some excellent racing there. We're going to talk about a couple of Gulfstream races too. I love Gulfstream this week, and I don't often say that,
Right.
This time I'm going to say it. I'm really, really looking forward to Gulfstream Park tomorrow as well.
And when you've got Triple Crown preps starting to kick up their heels, Kentucky Derby points on the line, and the Sham also at Aqueduct and the Jerome will handicap that race in the podcast. A lot of fun. Let's get to it and give the fans a look at the schedule for this week's first call races. We take 8 races under the spotlight each week and put Jeff Siegel to the test. And this week we're going to kick off with the Jerome Stakes at Gulfstream Park. Then we'll add in the Dania Beach and the Ginger Brew. At Santa Anita, the Cal Cup Sprint, the Sunshine Millions Filly and Mare Sprint, the Cal Cup Derby, the Cal Cup Oaks, and we'll wrap it up with the Turf Classic on the Cal Cup program at the Great Race Place. So a lot of handicapping to get to, Jeff. Let's start on the Derby Trail. Perhaps the Jerome isn't a race that's produced a lot for the Kentucky Derby. A couple horses, Firenze Fire, one other. It's only been like 2 horses come out of this race and actually make the Kentucky Derby in the last decade. So not a huge Kentucky Derby race, but there are points on the line. And then maybe we get a horse for the Gotham a little bit later. Maybe we get a horse for the Wood Memorial. Let's talk Jerome Stakes. It's race number 8 on the card. Listed stakes now, used to be graded, but now a listed stakes for $150,000. 1-turn mile. Let's talk Jerome and where you might be looking.
Well, Arctic Arrogance is the morning line favorite at 8-5. He's a New York bred, but he's a very consistent horse with rising numbers. He ran really lights out in the Remsen, which is obviously a grade 2 open race. And although he was beaten a half length in that race, he was 11 lengths clear of the rest. Now he's shortening up from a 1.1 miles to a 1-turn mile, but he has run well at this distance, specifically at Aqueduct. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. He did have a hard taxing race, though, in the Remsen, and you have to worry about the bounce factor. But he really ran well, Jeremy. And I know it was an off track, might have flattered him, but he's run well on the fast as well.
Right.
And he's had a month off. So I think Arctic Arrogance, based on the Remsen, which was a really good race, I think he's obviously the one to beat.
Let's take a look back at a sloppy edition of the Remsen with John Embriel's
are right together as they head for home. 3/4 in 1, 12 and 1. Tuskegee Airman is all out in third, but now 4 lengths from the lead as they come down for the 8th pole. Arctic Arrogance on the inside and W&L on the outside. The front 2 have separated themselves from the rest of the field. W&L on the outside narrowly. Arctic Arrogance continues to battle on. They come on for the finish, and it is W&L to win the Remsen by a long neck. Arctic Arrogance was second and a big break. Back to Tuskegee Airman in third.
If not Arctic Arrogance, I think the horse that you might want to keep an eye on is Lugan Knight in here, Jeff. Coming out of an allowance race, we're third at Churchill Downs for trainer Michael McCarthy. He's West Coast based, but he's got a string in the Midwest and's got this one in Aqueduct. Lugan Knight ran third last time to Victory Formation, who came back and won the Smarty Jones last week at Oaklawn Park for Brad Cox. So a pretty good live allowance race Lugan Knight comes out of. To me, that's the other one there, a Keeneland Sprint allowance winner, maiden winner, 2 starts back. Lugan Knight won to watch, and there are Golden Sense who should like the mile. 1-turn mile ought to be just about right for Lugan Knight.
Yeah, this is a good race. I mean, I mentioned Arctic Arrogance, but he doesn't have to win because you've got 3-year-olds at various stages of improvement. We saw how much Arctic Arrogance improved. Why couldn't Lugan Knight do the same thing? Right. He's got the perfect style for a 1-turn mile. He was 3rd last time out. That colt that beat him, Victory Formation, is a quality colt to be sure. He's had plenty of time now since late November. He scares me, and he's 4-1. And at 4-1, Lugan Knight may be every bit as good a bet, or maybe even better than Arctic Arrogance at 8-5. So this race, I know it's not graded, but there's some nice 3-year-olds in this race, and it's obviously a race that very well worth watching, if nothing else.
Let's turn our attention to Gulfstream Park on Saturday, where there's a couple stakes races for 3-year-olds on the turf, the Dania Beach and the Ginger Brew. There'll be races 7 and 9. And also Saturday at Gulfstream Park, there's a big handicapping tournament you want to get involved with at Express Bet. You can also play on track. It's the Pegasus World Cup Betting Challenge Feeder. It's a $500 entry fee, $300 in live money. $200 goes into the prize pool, 100% paid back in prize money. You can earn a spot into the Pegasus World Cup Betting Challenge. This is worth, $6,000 to get involved in that contest. So $500 contest on Saturday. Be sure to check it out. Play online at expressbet.com. Only on ExpressBet can we play the handicapping tournaments, not on the First Bet app. Stakes-wise, as we mentioned, Saturday at Gulfstream, we'll start with the Dania Beach Stakes. It's race number 7, and you talk about horses who come onto the scene and burst onto the scene, Jeff. There's one in here who did it last time. Candidate with a dominant win, had won at Laurel Park in Maiden Company, but then went to Tampa for an allowance race. And she basically said, I'm going to be a stakes player. Let's go back and watch her powerful win with Jason Beam on the mic.
It's Candidate off the turn, just over a length in front. It's Candidate now kicking away 2.5, a lineup of 3 in behind. Deceitful, Furiously, Bramble Blaze. Joining them on the far outside is Dataman, but inside the final furlong, and Candidate is well clear out here. Dataman starting to roll down the far outside, still has 5 lengths to find in the final 16th. It's Candidate, and Daniel Centeno going to win it here. Candidate impressively by 4.5, 5 in the end.
Arnaud Delacour looks like he's got a good one. He's been around some pretty good horses, a lot of them on the turf as well. So, Candidate, you think she moves up to the stakes rank successfully here?
I absolutely do. This is you look at his purchase price, $150,000 for an exaggerator last spring. That's a lot of money for an exaggerator. But he looks like the good exaggerator. Right. Skippy Longstocking and that. And this is a big, strong, strapping colt with speed. Can you imagine making your debut going 1.125 miles at Laurel Park on an off track? I mean, you talk about a tough task, and he wasn't quite fit enough for that. Yeah. But since then, he comes back and he wins a 1.16 mile race at Laurel, a gate to wire. What I liked about this race is that he didn't get that front running trip. We didn't show it, but he was actually sitting second and very happy to be there. And then he accelerated, took control, and went off by himself. This is a quality colt. He's 6-1 in the morning line from the rail. They might just hand him the racetrack, and if he does from the inside post going to Gulfstream Park, no one's going to catch him. Now, on the other hand, if he is challenged early, he showed me in this race he could stalk without pulling, without getting rank. He's a very handy horse. I think this is a quality grass horse, and you wouldn't think that Exaggerator would get a good grass horse, but this one is. Again, 6-1. You're not going to get it, I don't think, but I really, really like Candidate to win the Dania Beach.
Major dudes in there coming out of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf with a tough post. It's Todd Pletcher. You know that one's going to take some money. You got another Breeders' Cup alum in Congruent, a horse who was 3rd in the pulpit last time. Gulfstream tried the dirt in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile unsuccessfully. And then you've got the French colt shipping stateside for the first time, last race in October, on a 3-race win streak named Suzak. All 3 wins and photo finishes. Grand Motion takes over. Joel Rosario Rise. Rosario with his good, strong finishing tactics, a horse who likes to win photo finishes. Suzak could be heard from late in this one as well.
He was going to be on my original pick, quite frankly. I looked up his French form. I love horses that win photo finishes. A lot of them that I play don't. You know what I'm saying? They lose by a head. But this French colt, he's got good form. His time form ratings are solid and rising. I came off of him only because, and I might be outsmarting myself here. I've done that many times, but I wasn't that crazy about his Palm Meadows breeze on grass. He didn't look like that. He was that happy. And it was like if he had been breezing like this and full of run, I might have actually picked him to beat Candidate, who I love. But I didn't see that, and maybe I don't know the horse. Maybe that's just the way he breezes. But
Sure.
I'm gonna protect with him. I'll save with him. But the main punch for me goes to Candidate.
Also at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, it's the Ginger Brew Stakes, goes as race number 9. It's our express bet race of the week. I've got full analysis of the Ginger Brew. You can get that by signing up for the email newsletter at First Bet or expressbet.com. Get that sent to your email inbox each week. Jeff, it was a good week last week to be following the express bet race of the week. You talked about your fortune with photo finishes. I was fortunate last week with a disqualification put up to the tune of $1,242 on the return of the express bet race of the week. So that happened on January 1. Usually the race of the week's on a Saturday. I did it on a Sunday. So does that mean I've used up all my good luck for 2023 already?
Maybe for the month of January, but I don't know about the whole year. But I tell you what, hell of a pick for you, and I don't care how you get it; they still cash the ticket. So and that was a fantastic race of the week for you. Again, finishing second, getting moved up. We've all been taken down when we were, so why not get moved up for a big score? Absolutely, that's the way to do it. But this is a good race, Jeremy. The Ginger Brew for 3-year-old fillies. I know that we both like the same filly here, and we're both hoping that we get the morning line price.
Yeah, her name is Navy Goat, and she was really impressive. We're going to take you back and let you see in behind in trouble here with the blue cap, and is going to dip down to the inside. And blue cap, yellow sleeves there. Another Arnaud Delacour trainee with those Lael Stables silks. Now the C's part on the inside, Jeff. And this was the juvenile filly stakes on the Tapeta. She'll go to the turf now, but this daughter of Army Mule, she looked impressive in here to me.
You can look at the 3/4 fraction, 117-1. And she was bottled up, nowhere to go. I mean, she was like, if horses could cuss, she was cussing about the 3/8 pole.
I think they can.
Out of here.
I'm certain they can.
Right. But then when she finally got through, she scooted clear. Wasn't knocked about at all. And then one other thing about her, you talk about that was a all-weather race, but she had won on the grass at Kentucky Downs 2 races back. Mm-hmm. She stalked in hand, looked great, looked like she'd been doing it all her life, hit the front. And then holds on to win by a neck. But she was just like looking around because galloping out, she just drew off again. So she didn't even try in that race, and she still won, even though the margin was by a neck. She is 8-1 in the morning line. They gave $450,000 for this filly in the Ocala 2-year-old in training sale for a first crop sire who stands for 12.5. You don't think she was impressive in the breeze and what she looks like? This is a high quality filly. By the way, she also has a bullet work since raced. Handy. I mean, I just love this filly at 8-1, and I don't know what I'm going to get for her. I don't know what price she's going to close, and I know she's stepping up in class. But man, I'm all in on Navy Goat.
She's got Pletcher in here with Cairo Consort, a horse that's transferred to his barn after finishing 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf in the fall. She was sold at the Keeneland sale for $875,000 and moved to Pletcher. You know she's going to take some money. Chad Brown's got Anna Karenini in here, first-time U.S., a horse who is Group 2 5th-place finisher. Not a bad effort in Group 2 company in France. She's going to take some money, so maybe you will, with Navy Goat, be able to hold a reasonably fair price. Now, this race, the Ginger Brew, is part of the first ever coast-to-coast Pick 5 wager. First bet is started, and First Racing has started the new wager, the coast-to-coast Pick 5, that'll run every Saturday and Sunday throughout the course of January, February, and March. Let's learn a little bit more about the newest bet in racing.
Coast-to-coast Pick 5. $1 minimum. Player-friendly 15% takeout. Coast-to-coast Pick 5. Weekends beginning January 7th.
It started Saturday with this race lineup here. Race number 9, the Ginger Brew at Gulfstream that we're just talking about on the podcast, kicks off the inaugural Coast-to-Coast Pick 5 at 4:10 Eastern. Will be the first of 5 races, 2 from Gulfstream, 3 from Santa Anita on Saturday. The Sunday schedule is also out right now. There'll be 3 races from Gulfstream and 2 from Santa Anita on Sunday. Jeff Siegel, Brian Natto from Gulfstream Park, and myself will put together handicapping videos every racing day that we offer the Coast to Coast Pick 5 across First. You'll be able to check those out on social media, the track websites, simulcast feed, pregame shows, things like that as well. So be sure to get the full feel for the Coast to Coast Pick 5 with our separate videos outside of our First Call podcast here. But the Ginger Brew Stakes, race number 9, Saturday at Gulfstream, the first leg of that Coast to Coast Pick 5. Jeff, and I know you're going to get involved in that one.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a great bet. 15% takeout, as you mentioned, just $1. And I am very bullish on this bet because I do a lot of work, obviously, at Santa Anita every day. Love handicapping Gulfstream, so it's the best of both worlds for me, and I am going to be attacking with vigor.
I'm going to give you $10 of, I don't know. I mean, like with Fox, it's Terry Bradshaw's money, right? You're going to get,
Right.
You're trying to win $1 million with Terry Bradshaw's money. We're giving away $10 free bets to anybody who wants to bet the Coast to Coast Pick 5 when you bet it with Express Bet and First Bet. Make sure you opt into the promotions. You don't get it just by placing the wager, but opt into the promotions. Nothing to it. It's just a click of a button on the First Bet or Express Bet website or apps, and you can get registered in to get that $10 free bet. You'll get the money put back into your account up to $10 when you place a wager on the Coast to Coast Pick 5. Any day in January that we offer the Coast to Coast Pick 5, that promo is up and running. So you could do it Saturday, come back Sunday, do the same thing. If you just bet $10, it's basically a completely free spin. If you put together a $40 ticket, you'll get $10 of your money back in the form of wagering credits after the fact. So absolutely take advantage of the Coast to Coast Pick 5 $10 free bet only when you bet with Express Bet and First Bet. Again, reminder, opt into those promotions to take advantage of that. Let's get back to the handicapping on the First Call podcast now, Jeff, and we switch to Cal Cup Day at Santa Anita for the final 5 stakes races that we will handicap. Some of these are, of course, part of that Coast to Coast Pick 5 wager as well. We're going to start things out. Stakes Company in race number 1. It's the Cal Cup Sprint, and there is a standout favorite in here, the Chosen Vron. Can anybody run with him?
No, and here's the thing about the Chosen Ron. He's 4-5. He'll go lower and he'll win. But the thing about the Chosen Ron, he in another Cal Cup race later in the program, the 1.125 turf race, which goes as the 10th. And I'm thinking he's running in the first race. He's also running in the 10th race. Why couldn't he run in both? He would win either one, if not both. I mean, he's plenty of time. You know, I mean, standardbred horses do it. They come back and pace
Heat racing, yeah.
You know, so here's the Chosen Run, and I'm thinking, okay, they enter both, and you got to choose between one or the other. And I'm thinking that's a tough choice because he's going to win. He win either one. I actually thought he would go in the later race because there's more money. But either way, he's such a neat horse. He's a 5-year-old gelding. He's won 8 out of 12. Breezing looks great in the morning. This worked late last month. He's not even breezing. He's just galloping here, and he's still going to go in 48 and change. But here's a horse who's won sprinting on dirt, routing on dirt. He's also won on grass. He's won Calbred races. He's won open races. He's won graded stakes. What a neat horse he is. And you can see how happy he is in his breeze here. He just loves to race. He's had his issues. But, I mean, it's a 6 furlong sprint. He's not going to give away any weight. He just, God, I wish I owned a horse like him. Anyway, he's going to win this race at a short price. Key him in your early pick 5 if you want, whatever you want to do with him. But I would have thought it would have been a great story if he come back and win the last the same day, which of course is ridiculous. But with this horse, I wouldn't put it past him.
The alley dart to his affirmed is Big City Lights, runner up to him in the last 2 stakes races at Los Al and Del Mar. Will they go for the Southern California trifecta and just run 1-2 at Santa Anita as well? That's the likely scenario here. Big City Lights does look like maybe potential lone early speed, but has trouble getting out of the starting gate. This is the horse who bobbles, stumbles, bumps, and then rockets out of there. We'll see if Big City Lights takes him as far as he can, but the Chosen Brawn is the chosen one of Jeff Siegel in the Cal Cup Sprint. Let's go to race number 6. It's the Sunshine Millions Filly and Mare Sprint. This is race number 6 on the card. Downhill turf sprint, $150,000. And last year, Legs Galore just launched in this race. And behind her were a couple fillies, Alice Marble and Eddie's New Dream, who just couldn't keep up that day. She was super fast, Legs Galore. She's not involved in this one, and so you got the 2-3 finishers last year back at it. Is it Alice Marble and Eddie's New Dream again, the 2 to beat in here?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, Alice Marble, she didn't get out real well, I didn't think, last time out and when she was beaten at 6-5 in an allowance race at Del Mar. But that was a tough race, and I think she'll bounce back today or tomorrow in that race, Alice Marble and Pratt. Eddie's New Dream, though, she's tough as nails. She's been around a long time. First or second 12 out of 20. I'm going to give Alice Marble a slight edge over Eddie's New Dream. They're tough to separate. I would even throw in, if you want a price in your trifecta, taming the Tigress, who was claimed for 20,000 last 2 races back. But if you go strictly on numbers, she's absolutely right there with the others. And Taming the Tigress, a 5-year-old smiling tiger mare, she's another one who's proven over the course. So I wouldn't at 6-1 throw her out as well. It's a really good race. I mean, I could see any one of those 3 win. I'll give Alice Marble the edge on top because of the D'Amato Pratt team. It's kind of easy to lean on them if it's a close call. But this is not a one-horse race. All 3 of these race mares, Calbred race mares, have a chance to win an 8. And it's a course that took a lot of water the other day. So I don't know what we're going to deal with in terms of how soft it'll be. I don't think it'll be soft, but it won't be hard. So it could change the outcome a little bit.
Race number 6, not only part of the Coast to Coast Pick 5, as we talked about just a moment ago on Saturday. It's also the second leg of the Pick 6 on Saturday, Jeff, and we are 22 minutes into this podcast, and I'm just getting around to mentioning the fact there's also a mandatory payout in the Pick 6 with a $200,000 plus carryover. Might be up to over $300,000 by the time the Saturday card rolls around if nobody hits it on Friday at Santa Anita. So again, a mandatory payout in the Rainbow 6 on Saturday at Santa Anita. That starts in race number 5. The final 6 races on the card, of course, the Pick 6 at Santa Anita. Starts in race number 5. Then that stakes race in the 6th will be part of it there that we just talked about, the Sunshine Millions Filly and Mare Sprint. Let's go back to the stakes schedule and see where we turn next at Santa Anita on a very busy Saturday on Cal Cup Day. It's race number 7 next up on the program, and it's the Cal Cup Derby. These are 3-year-olds, California breds. We've seen horses, notably California Chrome, come out of this race. We've seen some other good ones over the years, Cara Cortado and some runners like that, who end up making a dent on the Santa Anita Derby trail. We could see, because it's a mile and a 16th this early in the year, yes, it is just state breds, but these are horses who have some route about them, and they can go and play later on the Santa Anita Derby trail. So we'll see if we get any of those types in here, Jeff. But what we know about the Cal Cup Derby is it's the King Glorious Stakes plus a few others. The top 5 finishers in the King Glorious Stakes at Los Alamitos back in early, December? That race was December the 18th. They're back in a rematch. So is it give or not a taker for Peter Miller, racking up another Calbred Stakes win, or do we go somewhere else? Sometimes I like to see a fresh face when there's this many horses rematching.
You mentioned Giver Not a Taker when he won the King Glorious, but he won that race by head over a colt who's also in here, a gelding actually, Crypto Ride, who was coming off a maiden 50 win. So I'm not sure that was a great group. Obviously, Giver Not a Taker is a genuine and consistent now 3-year-old for Peter Miller. But I think Peter's other horse is the high-quality one in the race, and that's Thirsty John, who won his debut with when trained by Walter Solis, who's no longer training, retired, turns this horse over to Peter Miller. And Thirsty John ran 4.5 and 52 and 2, earned a 77 buyer number over a track over a time of the year at Santa Anita where everybody else was running in 54 and 55. It was a really, really impressive performance. And although we have not seen him since then, obviously it's not the easiest of tasks to win off a layoff like this going a mile and 1/16. But based on what we saw in that race, Jeremy, I think Thirsty John, son of Stay Thirsty, who was good enough to go 1.25 miles, I don't think the distance is going to beat him, especially if he duplicates the favorable impression he made in that maiden win last spring.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect the Stay Thirsty offspring to win going 4.5 in May of their 2-year-old year. So maybe the exceptional thing he did isn't going from 4.5 to 1.16 miles off the layoff. It was actually winning the debut with that pedigree. Let's go back and take a look at that race that you mentioned at Santa Anita with Frank Miramati.
Thirsty John pulling away now, opens up 2. Golf Drama at the rail trying to fight back second. They're inside the final 1/8 of a mile, and it's Thirsty John, very professional, edging away, and Thirsty John opens up past the 16th pole, and another son of Stay Thirsty, Thirsty John, cruises to victory. Golf Drama second, Midnight Lightning third, then Smokin' Amelia.
So Thirsty John off that one. I guess he's going to do a Taba, right? You sprint and you go into the route stakes right on the second start. He's got the layoff, though. Taba was coming back in just a couple days, so he's had a little more time.
I tell you what, the golf drama who was second in race was all the rage. He was he'll win by 10, and I remember thinking about that. And at the quarter pole, I'm thinking, you ain't gonna win by 10. I can tell you that. This colt was just laughing at him at the quarter pole. Went on by, was not even being asked in the final stages, and galloped out far in front. And he's got 3/4 and 11 and 4 at San Luis Ray Downs. We don't have video, obviously, of workouts at the training center, but I'd have to imagine that he was impressive enough for Peter Miller to think, okay, he's ready enough. And from the inside draw, how can he not be the controlling speed here? I think if he breaks, he just opens up. So Thirsty John for me. 4-1 on the morning line. Can we get that? I don't think so.
Yeah, the other Miller's going to get bet some, but I kind of think they're going to make this one the favorite. I think the horse off the one race is actually going to be favored in here. We will see how it turns out. Race number 8 next at Santa Anita is the Cal Cup Oaks on Saturday. The Oaks is a mile turf race, and this is also part of the Coast to Coast Pick 5 races. And Jeff, there's one in here, cast member that nobody's touched yet on dirt, but we're going a mile on the turf for trainer Tim Yakteen. We saw Yakteen unleash one on the turf the other day that was like, hey, why is this guy not been on turf? So maybe it's a deja vu in a week's time for Tim Yakteen with another one who could just take to the grass.
Well, of course, she's out of a mare by Artie Schiller, so there's enough grass pedigree just in the sire of the dam to expect that she will. I'm not crazy about the 9-hole. And I don't think she's a great filly or anything like that, but I tell you what I like about her. She's a trier. I mean, she's won 3 in a row, and she's breezing. I mean, this is what a high-quality filly is supposed to look like when they're breezing on the training track, 49-2. But she's happy. She's relaxed. She's just breezing along. She's maintaining her form. And I have a hunch she's going to find a way to win, even though her buyer numbers are in the 60s, so she's not particularly fast on figs. But again, there doesn't seem to be a lot in here. Now, there are a couple others in here that you have to consider. Sell the Dream, who's been running in she's also obviously a Calbred, but she just ran in the Open Jimmy Durante Stakes at grade 3, and she ran the best race of her life. Numbers-wise, she's quality filly. She was beaten half length in the grade 3 Surfer Girl. So if you look at resume, you could certainly make a case to Sell the Dream, even though she's not undefeated as a cast member is. Running against better horses, run faster, proven around 2 turns on grass. I mean, she's dangerous, and she's also got Flavian Pratt. In fact, she's the morning line favorite. And Quickly Parkett, who was a stakes winner up north, didn't get a good run in the Jimmy Durante. She's better than that, switching to Juan Hernandez. So this is not a one-horse race. I think the bottom 3 horses, 9, 8, and 7, cast member, Sell the Dream, and Quickly Parkett. Now, if you're playing like the Pick 6 or anything else like that, I think you got to use all 3. But I'll give cast member the top ranking, but she's not a single for me.
Coast to Coast Pick 5, Pick 6 with the mandatory payoff. Jeff's giving you 3 there to use in race number 9, the Cal Cup Oaks. Our final stakes race that we're going to take a look at for this week's First Call podcast also is at Santa Anita. It's race number 10 on Saturday. This is the Unusual Heat Turf Classic on Cal Cup Day, a mile and an 1/8 here. We mentioned the Chosen Vron cross-entered in both races, the 6-furlong sprint to open the card, the mile and an 1/8 Turf Classic at the end of the day. Jeff, we expect him to show up in the sprint race, but if he does show up here at the mile and an 1/8, do you take him as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, but with him scratched, Chosen Run scratched, now it gives the others a little bit of a fighting chance, including Carmelita's Man, who's my top selection here. He is a horse who won a similar stakes at Del Mar 3 races back, came back and won an allowance race, which he was eligible for at a mile and 3/8, and that was an open race. He won that. And then last time out, he was 4th in the Lure, but look who won it. Air Force Red came back and won a graded stakes. Prince Obama came back out of that race, won a graded stakes. Nothing wrong with it. And I think he found a mile a little bit too sharp in that race against that context. Coming out of a mile and 3/8 marathon, it was just too sharp. And they didn't come back to him. They came the final quarter in 22-3. I mean, what's the poor horse going to do with that? They're trying to make up ground, So, but this is a different context. Back in a mile and 1/8. Also, a 4-time winner over the Santa Anita turf course is Carmelita's Man, again for Dean Pedersen. So, I mean, for me, Carmelita's Man, if you are needing a single for the last race, and you've got so many horses, you just want to sink or swim with one horse in the final, he's your guy, I think. I mean, Carmelita's Man is just I mean, he's a pro, and when you put him in races that he's supposed to win, he wins.
You mentioned horses who win photo finishes you like. I mean, this horse had a 3-race win streak by a nose ahead in 3/4, not even a full length margin in the 3 victories, but knows where the wire is. And with Juan Hernandez aboard for all 3 of those scores, he's back aboard again on Saturday. And in the absence of the chosen run, Carmelita's Man is the main man for Jeff in the unusual Heat Turf Classic, wrapping up Cal Cup Day at Santa Anita. Again, just a lot to remind you with racing this weekend on the First Bet app and at expressbet.com and across the First family of racetracks. We've got live racing at Golden Gate Fields and Laurel Park, in addition to Gulfstream Park on Saturday, where we've got a Cup Stakes races, tournament, live money bankroll tournament at Gulfstream Park on Saturday. And of course, at Santa Anita, it's Cal Cup Day, mandatory payout in the Pick 6 Day on Saturday, and a fantastic card there in Southern California. The rain has cleared out, so that's good news. Jeff, I got papers everywhere, stacks. We're trying to shuffle things around. I've got to come up with 10 races for the Express Bet Beat the Host contest. That debuts on Saturday. There'll be 5 races from Gulfstream, 5 races from Santa Anita. I've done the handicapping. I've got to figure out which 5 I want to use and try to be a little strategic about it. So fans who play Express Bet Beat the Host, this is the 18th year for Beat the Host. I don't think I was involved in the first 2, but 16 of them. You've probably been involved in all 18 of them. You'll come up a little bit later in the season where fans will take you on in the Express Bet Beat the Host. It runs over the course of 8 weeks, concludes with Eddie Olczyk at the end of February. And if you beat the host any week, you qualify for the Beat the Host final tournament where you can play for some big money and berths into some serious handicapping tournaments at the end of the year. So be sure to try to take down the host once during the course of the season. If you take us down twice, you can qualify twice for that Beat the Host final. And also there's season-ending prizes. If you sweep the host all 8 weeks, you can win a big $6,000 prize. So there's a reason to play every single week. And with Express Bet Beat the Host, it's a 10 $5 win bet. So it's $50 to play. All the money goes back into the prize pool. It's pari-mutuel. So if you hit a $5 winner during the course of a race, whatever you get, that money's in your account. So you're just playing 5 win bets from Gulfstream, 5 win bets from Santa Anita. They're each at $5 a piece. The races for Saturday's Beat the Host will be posted by the end of business today. They tell me I have to have it posted on the Express Bet website. So I've got to figure out which ones I'm going to use on that, but a lot of fun and a lot going on.
You got a lot to choose from. I mean, you never know what kind of cards you're going to get on any day. And I could be wrong, but I kind of wish I was the Beat the host this week.
I'll trade you.
No one would touch me. This is how well I like the weekend card, not just in Santa Anita, but at Gulfstream and around the country. I'm ready. I am prepared, and I am ready.
I wonder if I got to go this way. I got to look over here to look at your papers. All right. I might just cheat on the exam. I'm going to take Jeff's.
You love all these papers. He's got a lot of papers. How about this? There's all kinds of papers. I just hope I don't miss a race because I forgot the post time. I mean, I gotta write down all of the post time so I don't miss anything here. I don't want to blow 8-1 shot that I like.
Our first post, blog each day at ExpressBet and at FirstBet does a good job of keeping you up to date with all the times of when wagers start, when promotions start, when the big races are. So that helps keep organized and gals organized as we handicap throughout the course of the day. So be sure to check out those blogs posted every morning around 11 a.m. Eastern to set you up for the whole day. The first post blog, Why Play Today? We give you the reasons and the times and everything that's going on. So helps you plan out your day because you're going to need it on Saturday, baby. There is a lot going on. On behalf of everybody with First Technologies and First Racing and my partner, Jeff Siegel, I'm Jeremy Plonk. Good luck at the races this weekend, except in the 10 races where I'm taking you down. We'll talk to you next week. And Jeff and I will be back on Tuesday for It's Official. We'll see you then.